Okay, to start off, a lot of you guys might be familiar with the popular television show called Hoarding Buried Alive, or have heard about it either online or some gruesome details through friends. So, when I was a young girl, I lived next door to people who had a serious hoarding disorder. I would often go over there to play with their children, and I never really understood why there would always be so many things stacked to the ceiling. There was never really room for us to move around inside the house, which would result in us playing outside most of the time. Me and my mom often tried to help them with all of the things in their house, all of the trash, all of the clutter, and they would often go behind our back and keep things and pull things out of the trash. Walking into this kind of environment really freaked me out. I didn't know what to expect because I have always come from a family who keeps their house very clean and orderly. Everything's maintained, everything has its own place. And walking into this place, I didn't know what to think. So, according to the American Psychiatric Association's website, authored by Rana Parek and accessed on March 26th of 2021, hoarding disorder occurs in an estimated of 2 to 6% of the population and often leads to substantial distress and problems functioning. Some research shows hoarding disorders are actually more common in males than in females. So, today we are going to be discussing hoarding disorders. So, first you might wonder, what exactly is hoarding? Hoarding can be basically classified as people having all of these items that may not be of any use or specialty to you, but to that person, it's very hard for them to let go of. The second point I'm going to be covering today is what are some effects of hoarding? And this can range from underlying health issues, illnesses, and even problems with family and friends due to this disorder. The third thing I'm going to be talking about today is this disorder treatable? Some might say no, but it actually is. This disorder is treatable through therapy and family and friend guidance and help. So to start off, some signs of hoarding. How do you know if somebody you know is on the verge of becoming a hoarder? You really don't until you start paying attention to some of these little details. If you find someone you know keeping everything, trash, things that wouldn't matter usually, they would be of no use to you. They're keeping those things, and you might think that's weird because you don't usually do that, but that might be a sign of somebody on the verge of becoming a hoarder. Even if you walk into their house and, like I said, my family friend, the hallways, there was stuff stacked on either side, cluttered to the ceiling. You couldn't see the chandeliers on the ceiling anymore. Obviously, if you see something like that going on in a family or friend's house, you might have an idea that there is a problem. So, according to my research, an article from the ADAA, which can be better recognized as the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, last accessed on March 26th of 2021, states that hoarding is a disorder that may be present on its own or as a symptom of another disorder. Now that we have gotten a better idea on what hoarding actually is, now we can move on to talking about how this disorder can affect the person with the disorder and how it can affect their family and their friends. This can affect your whole daily life. This might lead you to be depressed and super unmotivated. You might not want to leave your house. And hoarding, when it gets that bad, your family and friends don't want to come over. They don't want to come see you. It might be embarrassing for you to show your family and friends what you've been dealing with, and that's okay. Another thing, bad hygiene. Bad hygiene can come from this, especially when your bathroom or your kitchen could be blocked off by excessive clutter. Maybe you aren't able to get to a toothbrush or take a shower, and this can be a serious problem because this can lead to severe illnesses. It's also very hard for your loved ones to see you live like this. It's also, no one wants to see their children or a loved one or a friend give up on themselves like this necessarily. It's hard to see a loved one give up on themselves. So since you now have a better idea on how this disorder can affect them and their family, now let's move on to how effective treatment can be. Treatment is ultimately set up to break these bad habits. Your friends and family ultimately want to help you. They want the best for you. They want you to treat your body and your lifestyle with care and respect. Therapy is also a big thing that can help. Hoarding might come from a whole bunch of other underlying issues. In Hoarders, the television show, you can see that they usually bring in a specialized therapist, and their family and friends are also usually there guiding them through every step of the way. Treatment can cure hoarding ultimately by doing therapy and family and friend helping you, but ultimately there is no guarantee that this disorder is 100% curable. It is different for everybody. Like, if I had a friend who hoards, like I said, my friend growing up, is there a chance that she's going to get better from that? Probably not. This has been an ongoing issue for about 18 years now. It's been since I was young, and it's still the same way, if not worse now. So today we got to take a deeper look into what hoarding disorder truly is. We learned what it means to have a hoarding disorder. We learned what the effects are on yourself and your family and your friends, and we learned how this disorder can be treatable. Hoarding disorder, like I said before, occurs in 2 to 6% of the population. That is a lot of people. A lot of people have this disorder, and it's important that we realize how difficult this is for some people and how we can work together to help someone that we may know come out of this disorder. So like I said, growing up next door to our beloved friends, they have always had this big hoarding disorder, and no matter how hard we try and want to see them do better and clean up their house, it's just too difficult for them. That's just how they've been living. Those are their habits, and it's hard for somebody to break habits when you've been living like that for so long. So it may not be like that for you and me, but some people do live like that, and that is just second nature for them. That is how they live. And today we were able to discuss the topics of hoarding and how it affects people and the treatments. And I hope you can take away some of that information into your own life. And now we can all be aware of how this disorder affects people and how effective treatment is.